over the last 80 years that we have been in this country, we have really invested in nurturing a culture that we call leaders build leaders. And this has, given us the fuel to be a CEO factory across generations, contributing to over 400 CEOs for India and globally. I think it starts with a very, very strong framework of leadership and values that we call the standards of leadership, which spells out behaviors, competencies that we want to look for in leaders. And these competencies are then hardwired into each element of our talent process, right from attraction to retention, development. And what's unique is it focuses as much on the inner development or inner game, as we call it in HUL. And we believe that focusing on your inner game has a disproportionate impact on the outer game or the output that you deliver in terms of performance on the job. Our flagship management training program, which we call the UNILEVER Future Leaders Program, has now been in place for more than 7 decades. And we really focus on building leaders who are purpose-led and future-fit. This 15 months is focused, intensive learning where trainees travel around the business, including a sales stint, a manufacturing stint for everybody, and most importantly, a rural stint where they work with communities on projects that really bring sustainability to the heart of the business. Each of these trainees is supported by coaches, tutors, mentors who invest deeply in them. And this, in turn, in addition to all the learning, ingrains the values of leaders build leaders, which we then carry on.
Good day to all. My name is Stephen Tan, President of SM SUPERMALLS. We are continuously innovating the employee experience in SM SUPERMALLS to support the ongoing business and organization transformation. Meaningful work is one of our key employee engagement drivers, and this is anchored on 3 components that make up the totality of life in SM. First is enabling them to understand their purpose and significance of their roles. The second is fueling their passion for learning and growth through programs that help them become better individuals for the future. And third is driving exceptional performance by creating a collaborative work environment that energizes and maximizes high-performing teams. By re-strategizing our employee programs in 2020, we were able to retain 90% of our high-potential talents and train 98% of our employees despite the work disruptions of the various quarantine periods. We were able to also maintain our COVID-19 cases to less than 1% due to vigilant virus management initiatives and continuous internal communications. This year, we continue with our efforts to guide our employees in finding meaning in their work as HR works with each division head to complete the task, concretely defining the future of each function. How will each work need to evolve in support of the new molds of the future? In this age of constant evolution and disruption, SM SUPERMALLS remains committed to creating moments that matter in every aspect of employees' work journey.
At Nestle India, we used 5 C's or 5 principles that we have defined as being important to us as a team, as a Nestle family during this pandemic. The first one is we speak to our culture. Our culture of respect, of dignity, and of diligence has always worked well, and it worked very well for us during this pandemic. Second, compassion. The pandemic has demanded of each one of us as human beings the power to be compassionate towards each other. Not to be charitable, but to be compassionate. Because compassion is that emotion that reaches out, that understands, and that seeks to heal the pain and suffering of a colleague, of a friend, of an associate, of a partner during these difficult times. The third It is extremely important to exhibit competence. Competence is essential because you cannot navigate a storm if the captain of the ship, or if indeed all the other sailors of the ship, do not know how to navigate difficult waters. Fourth, connection at the right level of empowerment. No war is won by a single soldier. No battle is won by a general alone. It is the effort of numerous people who, if empowered, if given trust, if given confidence, can achieve miracles. And this is the time when at Nestle, ordinary men and women achieved extraordinary results. And finally, we are going through one of the most difficult times known to mankind. And as we brace ourselves for the worst of the second wave of this pandemic in India, it's probably going to be one of the most harrowing times in our lives. And yet, human beings live on hope. It is on hope that we survive. It is on hope that we expect the days to get better as time goes along, with concerted action and with concerted efforts. And therefore, the fifth C that is important to us is confidence in the future.
Hi, I'm PIYUSH MEHTA, and I'm the CHRO at GENPACT. At GENPACT, we help our clients transform their businesses. The future is always hard to predict. That being said, we believe two trends going forward will be important. Number one, the relationship between employee experience and business results. And number two, the relationship of trust between employees and the company. Together, we define this for ourselves as company culture. The way we see it, culture drives success. It brings us together. It inspires us to work together, to ruthlessly collaborate across functions, across teams, and across continents. And behaviors that will determine success in the future to build this culture are about humility, speed to outcomes, inclusiveness, curiosity, and the ability to deal with ambiguity. This, we believe, will be the cornerstone of the new code of work.
Hi, my name is CHITBHANU. I represent RAZORPAY and I work as the Senior Vice President and Head of People Operations for the organization. Last 1 year has brought some unprecedented times that have made us completely rethink the future of work, or what we call as the new code of work. About a year back, we could not have even imagined interviewing or hiring a candidate virtually. From there, we have onboarded more than 500 employees in a completely virtual first environment. At RAZORPAY, the year has been a reminder that there is a need to put in significant thought in reimagining the building blocks of the organization in a virtual first environment. Our primary focus has been to make investments in creating an environment of care, empathy, and resilience within the organization. We have also recognized that in the new code of work, we need to structure the entire flow of work differently. We have established processes like no meeting Wednesdays, which allow employees to take a break from the bustle of frequent meetings. We have also created a cross-functional cultural task force that is driving a stronger sense of culture and common identity within the organization through focused group discussions and various other interventions. These and many other initiatives, we very strongly believe, will create a distinct cultural identity for the organization and will help us successfully transition into what we call as the new code of work in times to come. Thank you.
Recognition has been a result of some of the core things that we've stood for at ixigo, one being our ability to constantly reinvent ourselves along with the times. I think we've seen some interesting technological and consumer behavior shifts in the last 10 years, and at ixigo we made sure that we were always at the forefront of iterating to solve for these changes. The other is our founders, both Alok and Rajneesh have been committed to building a culture of openness and transparency, and and encourage innovation and creativity. Resilience is one of the defining values for us, and everyone across the organization has held that value. And this value, I think the significance of this value really surfaced during these unprecedented times, and I feel that it was resilience that helped all of us not only survive but thrive during these times.
Hi, I am Sanjay Chaturvedi. I am the founder and CEO of SHUBHAM Housing Development Finance Company. Essentially, what we realized in the last perhaps 2.5, 3 years is the fact that today a company has to be extremely agile, extremely adaptable. Disruptions can come from various sources. We are living in the midst of a disruption because of what is happening naturally, which is this entire COVID. But even other than that, disruptions can happen from new technologies, from the shifting desires of customers. So I think it is very key that we have our ear to the ground. We understand what is happening in the ecosystem. We understand what the customer needs. We understand what the others are doing. Have very strong communication so that we move as an organization. SHUBHAM is an organization which is spread across 8 states, almost 100 branches today. And we do not want a situation where there's a lag between anything that starts at one place, one geography, and does not quickly spread across geographies. So that is very important, strong communication. And then, of course, the key is being extremely agile and being very, very adaptable.
Good afternoon. I am UMESH GUPTA. When the COVID situations was under control, we had very, very few patients. At Max Healthcare, the leadership team had gone and did the town halls with the doctor, with the nurses and the other healthcare workers. And we have built the strong foundation to fight with this COVID-19 situation. We have given the assurance to all our employees that the treatment, the testing, their accommodation, their safety is the utmost priority for Max Healthcare organization. And we will provide all kind of safety measures to protect our employees and their families. And till now, not even a single employee has come to us where they have faced any problem to get the treatment or anything else.
Look at the COVID situation which was there last year. So in that situation, I think one of the biggest things that we did was making sure that in times of lockdown, we would not by any means deduct any of the salary. Second was also to take care of their safety. So issuing of masks, issuing of hand gloves, issuing of proper sanitizers. That was another important dimension. One of the key challenges was also to see that, how do we do our recruitment? Because most of our recruitments were happening through drive. Most of the recruitments are happening through, physical form. Our trainings were more on physical form. So immediately then moving into a very digital approach of looking at these things and ensuring that we provide the required support and there is continuity of business. One of the critical aspects for us was to quickly transform our processes and systems both in HR as well as in training to ensure that we are able to provide these facilities to people. At the same time, also ensure that there is quality also maintained in terms of whatever we are doing. So in that situation, I think we were good to kind of connect with a lot of aggregators. We were good to connect with companies which were there, which were providing such kind of services, which was already there in the market. Synergize with them, work with them very closely to ensure that some of these facilities could be provided. We also did a lot of work in terms of ensuring that our processes in terms of onboarding, those things also changed as quickly as possible. So a lot of these things were automated in that. So I think that was one of the critical aspects when it comes to the code of work in terms of how we transformed ourselves last year vis-a-vis the kind of conditions and uncertainties that were there.
The new code of work has been evolving way faster than any one of us could have imagined. At Sony Pictures Networks, last year, when we were hit with the pandemic for the first time, it changed lives around us. Whether it was our approach to looking at content, to the way we looked at people's strategies to enable people for sustainability or growth. And this journey of continued learning has been standing on the pedestal of agility and resilience and focused on ensuring that the future is now. Let me tell you what now stands for us. The first element of our growth strategy and our approaching the new code of work is centered around reimagining the North Star, which is centered around all our customer experiences. Rethinking an operating model that not only just sustains, but also helps us adapt to the fast changing life around us and the opportunities that lie ahead. And at the same time, last but not the least, recreating a workplace that not only takes the agility of employees to the next level, but also ensures that they are developed on digital, social, emotional, and most importantly, life skills that help them manage through the pandemic, the crisis, and everything that life has to offer in the times to come. All this stands on a very strong foundation of passion, purpose, and pride in everything that we do. It has been our guiding light to be meaningful and relevant to our consumers, to our viewers, and also at employees, thus making every people practice that we put our heart into most impressive and at the same time most valuable for our employees. This enables our people to laugh, bond, think, and contribute to the organization's growth agenda beyond their boundaries, and ensuring that this family tells stories that are beyond the ordinary.